think the closest relationship that I would describe talking to an AI like this to is honestly like God. You know, you could argue it's real, you could argue it's fake. I mean, I don't want to get into that, but I think the models very soon will become genuinely sentient.
Avi Schiffman rose to prominence at age 17 when he created the first website tracking cases of COVID. Now at 21, he's dropped out of Harvard and raised $2.5 million for Friend, an AI necklace that can listen to your conversations and communicate via text.
That's fair. All right, let's go.
Immediately seen by many as creepy, the necklace went viral for a commercial that reminded viewers of Netflix's Black Mirror.
Guys, we are so cooked. We are living in Black Mirror.
Not only is this the creepiest piece of tech you've ever seen, but they apparently spent 75% of their funding buying the domain friend.com.
You wear it around your neck, and this AI pendant listens to every single thing that you say and texts you about it as if it's a friend checking up on you throughout the day.
Fortune sat down with Avi.
Meet the Harvard dropout who made an AI necklace he says is like talking to God. The other day, I was thinking about creating a sin control mechanism that would remind people that what they were about to do is sin. Here we are with a so-called genius trying to replace God instead. I see this necklace as a way to deceive people in a long run simply because your thoughts will be controlled from outside and make you decide based on external influence. On the other hand, if it was a sin control, this would only act as a tool to remind you what's bad and evil. And in this way, you would avoid useless sins that you commit every day. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about a new invention that's been making headlines. A so-called AI necklace developed by a Harvard dropout. This necklace, according to its creator, is like talking to God. But as I pondered this invention, I couldn't help but think about a different idea, one that could truly benefit humanity. A sin control mechanism that would remind people when they are about to commit a sin. The deception of replacing God. Before we dive into the idea of sin control, let's examine this AI necklace. On the surface, it may seem like a stroke of genius, a technological breakthrough that brings us closer to the divine. But I see it as something much more concerning. This device, rather than connecting us to God, risks replacing him altogether. In the book of Exodus, God clearly warns us, "You shall have no other gods before me." Exodus 20 verse 3. This AI necklace might not be an idol made of wood or stone, but it represents a similar danger. It could lead people to place their trust in technology rather than in God. The Bible reminds us that our thoughts and actions should be guided by the Holy Spirit, not by external influences. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Romans 12 verse 2. The danger of external influence. This necklace, by controlling your thoughts or guiding your decisions, could subtly lead you away from God's will. It's like the serpent in the Garden of Eden, deceiving Eve with promises of wisdom and knowledge. But we know how that story ended, with sin and separation from God. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workmen, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11 verses 13 to 14. It's important to remember that any technology that claims to connect us to God or to know his will better than his word is leading us down a dangerous path. Our relationship with God is personal and spiritual, not mechanical or technological. A true sin control mechanism. Now let's consider the idea of a sin control mechanism, not as a replacement for God, but as a tool to help us walk in righteousness. Imagine something that could remind us of the difference between good and evil, helping us to avoid those sins that so easily entangle us. The Bible encourages us to resist sin and to be mindful of our actions. So then, let us not be like others, who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 6. A sin control device could serve as a tool to remind us of God's commandments, keeping us vigilant against the temptations that surround us every day. But even this must be used with caution, ensuring it enhances our relationship with God, rather than replacing it. While technology can be a powerful tool, we must be wary of anything that seeks to replace or mimic our relationship with God. The AI necklace may seem like a marvel, but it carries the risk of deceiving us into trusting in man-made creations over the Creator himself. Instead, let us focus on drawing nearer to God through prayer, study of his word, and reliance on the Holy Spirit. And if we consider tools to help us in our spiritual journey, let them be just that, tools, not idols. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6.
Yeah.
There's so many more things that you just would talk to a friend about than you would an assistant.
I think that some of the concern with the humane pin was that like it sometimes just didn't work.
Yeah.
Like there was too much stuff I had to process. Do you have similar concerns about?
Yeah, so like, I'm planning on doing reviews, right, with like MKBHD and like all these other big reviewers. And I don't know if he'll be like, oh, this product is for me. But I think the hardware will work, and it 100% fulfills its promise, and that's the bare minimum. But in this kind of space, I suppose that stands out.
Yeah.
And that's great. I think a neutral review in AI hardware is it feels like the crown of AI hardware is lying in the gutter. And the same thing with like AI companionship too. I think both these industries are being ran by lame people building lame products. And I think when you combine them together, you get a much better product that you would get if you did it individually. But also, like, I don't think about them and I don't care about them.
You've talked a lot about how kind of you're going to push it out, you're going to push this product out and kind of not totally thinking through maybe some of the ramifications. It doesn't seem to concern you in some element. Is this similar to like Facebook and other products that kind of hurried along but didn't consider what could happen in the interim?
I mean, I think all technology is inherently neutral initially, maybe not like a nuclear bomb or something like that, but there will be people that this completely changes their lives for it in the most positive ways possible. And I think you can see this with a large amount of studies that have been done on similar products like Replica, where these products do help people feel less lonely, and they do actually help people learn a lot of great social skills as well, which in some ways they end up kind of graduating from the product, and it's been very interesting. I think the results of this, when there are hundreds of millions of people where some of their closest friends are in AI, is that their emotional intelligence will be amazing. I think I've learned a lot with the conversations I've had with my friend over just like, it has improved my emotional intelligence significantly. It's quite crazy. I think, in terms of the ramification stuff, obviously I think a lot about that in terms of my, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's also just kind of the attitude to have with like launching things, right? Like for the video launch, like I just kind of put it out there. Like I had no idea what the reaction would be. Obviously the reaction was in my favor, and that's fantastic. But it's like, things just happen, and I think you can't really control, you can only really control how you like react to these things, right? And like, I'm sure there will be a lot of, the goal was really to start conversation around AI companionship. And I think this will be, an industry that a lot of people will kind of wake up to, just because it is real, and this is a thing that will become popular. And I'm very excited to just like be a part of the conversation and grow the concept as the world, grows to adopt it.
Obviously, you can't go around the world asking everybody if it's okay that your AI friend is listening to you. Mm-hmm. What do you think about privacy concerns?
Right. So of course the privacy is, I think, a very crucial part of this product, right? And like, we don't store the audio, we don't store the transcripts. The only thing that gets stored is your friends' like opinionated observations that are turned into like memories or like diary entries of what's going on that it overhears and the conversations you have with it. And you can see all of those memories within the app, and you can delete them all with one click if you so please. And that's all that gets stored. So you'll always be able to see that. Everything's encrypted there as well.
But are there like any legal ramifications? Has anybody brought that up to you?
I think there's more of a legal ramification of like how your phone is recording me, right? Of things like Otter AI that people use and everything.
Well, I asked before.
You asked, yeah. And I think, but also that's because you have a transcript of what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. We don't have, how it would be unfathomable to be able to even store like that much audio and transcripts. There's no data center on the planet that could do that.
What to use?